I'm making a tea, so you're going to hear more. Let me get the ice before you come back.
And we are back live here on Spreaker.com. Broadcasting in replay, of course, on ProWrestlingRadio.net and BeyondRingside.com. Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio. Back
we
and
love you,
live
Eddie.
for you. What's going on? Hey, yes, we miss you, buddy. We miss you, Eddie. I hope you're having fun at Six Flags.
I'm starting to take it personal.
Think maybe he doesn't want to be around us anymore?
I mean, I'm thinking we got ourselves a hater.
Not a Beyond Ringside hater. We can't do that.
No, we can't make him a hater. He's in control of everything.
He presses the buttons, man. I'm just here filling in. That's all I do. I'm just filling in.
And Eddie, he's already messed up.
Well, I did figure it out. Slowly but surely, I'm learning a little bit. Learn a little bit here and there. So, Brian, let's jump right in, man. Let's talk about TNA.
Okay.
Tell me about the news you got from TNA so I don't go the wrong direction. Let's stay on the same page.
All right, so...
You mean the personal news?
Whoa.
I guess what Corgan is now the president and Dixie is the commissioner?
Yeah, coming from the most recent episode of TNA Impact, Billy Corgan announced as the president of Impact Wrestling. So TNA is still TNA, but they're calling, I guess he's the president of the show, Impact Wrestling. Dixie Carter taking a back seat, and now considered I actually think they called her the chairman. Doesn't really matter. But does this really indicate a good, solid, positive change for them?
I think maybe as far as if they may be in the works of selling it.
Right.
Then, maybe the deal's starting to go down and, they're trying to align their people right. But I mean, on its face, it's definitely better than where they were last week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think with any company, when they go through stages, eventually the person running the company, if it's not changing and it's not doing, you got to change who's running the company. And if Corrigan put as much money in it as the rumors are said that he has put in, there's no reason he shouldn't be calling the shots, Yeah,
I mean, if you've got that much of a vested interest in what you're just there for, I mean, you've got to start doing a little bit more with it. Is this, as Rob described, is this their last ditch effort to save their skins, save their company?
I think there will be a deal done before too long, and again, I think this just might be an opening part of whatever they got in the works.
I mean, you see it with any other company, like either this change is going to catapult them back to where they were, or in the vicinity, or it's going to package them up, make them look pretty for the next people. Because obviously nobody wants to buy a losing company. And I'm not saying TNA is a losing company. I'm just saying, you wouldn't buy into Ruby Tuesdays now that they're closing 95 stores.
Right.
Or Kmart. You wouldn't buy into Kmart knowing that how many times has it been in bankrupt, not saying Kmart's a bad store, people. I love Kmart. I'm Kmart smart.
Wow. Do we get a royalty check from that one, or is it just Rob?
Well, I can't say or confirm or deny that my wife, has been talking to these companies. I'm just kidding.
For every time he says your company, he gets 10 cents.
Yeah. I was talking to. Never mind. Go ahead.
Who are we talking to? Talk to us. Tell us the news.
It has nothing to do with wrestling, so let's just keep going. It has something to do with royalties, but let's just keep going.
Well, alrighty then. I think that Billy Corgan taking over as far as being president of Impact is not necessarily a bad thing. He's a definite fan, but he does know the business. How well he knows the business? Well, depends on who you ask. Resistance Pro Wrestling that was running out of Chicago was very successful. Very disappointed when they stopped airing their programming as far as over the web. That was a lot of fans' responses. So to hear that he was interested in TNA and investing, a lot of fans were hopeful and positively thinking of this. So now we see TNA for what they have currently. If you just watched Impact this week, you would have seen Jeff Hardy seemingly giving in, becoming broken Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero giving in and becoming completing the broken Hardy tag team, diving through a table and apparently giving in to broken Matt Hardy.
Yeah, and then single-handedly beating that tag team. So that was definitely different. Curious how long that storyline will run, though.
Well, I think with this storyline, and most likely this is coming from the Hardys having, we'll just say, creative control. They've really done this right, and they've stretched it for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the complaints that people say is that wrestling angles don't last long. So this will be a test to see if the modern-day wrestling fan is interested in these long-fasting feuds, because there's a whole generation of fans out there have gotten on the WWE way of doing things by, hey, you're my enemy until the next pay-per-view, and then I'll find someone else. But, one thing I will say about the Corrigan takeover is how often has it been that you've seen wrestling headlines in Rolling Stone?
Here lately it's been happening a lot, but before, I would say this year, I really can't think of a lot of times where Rolling Stones had all that much to do with wrestling in general.
Right. But now you're mixing both worlds, wrestling and music. And you got a guy who's been in the music business for years. And so that could be an avenue. That could be a niche that obviously the WWE's tried for years off and on.
Mm-hmm.
But, they haven't had any great success since the rock and wrestling days, let me say.
Well, not really. I mean, because the fact that WWE seems to luck into these headlines, whereas TNA and other companies manage to, they obtain them. They don't just luck into it. They plan it, and it comes together nicely for them. Having Billy Corgan, who's a proven commodity in music with Smashing Pumpkins, he's proven for success, so it's marketable. There's money there, and how it rolls out, how things happen going forward, who can say?
Right. I mean, we could be sitting here 6 months from now having a show called "What Was TNA," but or we could be sitting, here a year from now going, "Wow, that was the day things turned around." We just won't know.
That's true. So when we look at going forward with TNA, a gentleman making his debut this week, formerly known as Damian Sandow, now known as Aaron Rex.
Wow.
Making his debut. What is Aaron Rex? Where the hell did he get that? I mean, Aaron's his first name. I get that. Where does the Rex come from?
What's his last? Is his real last name Sandow?
His last name is Stevens.
Oh. Well, no offense, Aaron Stevens is in my opinion, on the surface, a forgettable name.
So you're saying
that's two first names.
His parents didn't love him much. Is that what you're saying?
Gave him two first names.
They couldn't decide.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, what do you think of Damian Sandow, now known as Aaron Rex, debuting on TNA?
I thought it was interesting. again, this is to me where I think the Corrigan move comes into play as well. I don't see you bringing somebody like him to a sinking ship as much as some people are saying is going. It may be around for a little bit longer.
They seem like they're pulling themselves out. Is really the thing I've got from it, is they're pulling themselves out from this deep hole that they've been in for so long. Clearly, it's going to take time, but their audience drop hasn't happened. We haven't seen them go under 300,000 viewers per week on the live feed. So while they see brief dips from here to there, they really aren't falling any further. So now that they've reached, I guess you could say, rock bottom, the logical step would be for them to start moving back up.
I think it just depends on the mix of talent.
Yeah.
Once they get the right mix, then they could hit gold on anything. Who would have thought that a feud between the Hardys, would have not only go on this long, but actually work is one of their best feuds they've had in a while, especially how dumb it can get sometimes. So, no offense, but all that, Brother Nero, that's crazy.
So you've
crazy.
gone to the other side of that now. It's become an annoyance.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's an annoyance. I'm just saying this is their biggest feud, and we have Jeff Hardy talking about green beans in three different in three different voices, so to speak.
Bring me the green beans.
So, again, it's something that's been caught fire, and they get the right mix, and they catch fire, then who knows what happens.
Well, and I have to agree with Brian. I mean, how many times have we seen Hardys versus Hardys? WWE tried it. WWE didn't go down that road very much. But how much has TNA gone down the Hardys versus Hardys role? In just the last couple of years. But one thing that I've noticed is they're suffering from the same thing that WWE was suffering from a few years ago. Remember when WCW came in and took all the talents that WWE had made? Then WWE was left with what? So then WWE had to develop their own talent. They had to promote people like Bret Hart to main event, Shawn Michaels to the main event. People that may not have ever gotten a chance at the main event had to be promoted to that main event. And so what WWE did was they circled the wagons, and then they rebounded. Maybe that's what TNA's got to do now, is all the stars that they had made. Well, they made money on old WWE stars, right? The Hogans, the Nasty Boy, all the Flairs. They made their money, and they lost tons of money because these people came in, took their paycheck, and left. But WWE took Rude, took James Storm. James Storm went back, but they've taken some of those big stars from TNA. Now it's time for TNA to make big stars again. Because again, right now, you got the Hardys, you got EC3 and Lashley. I mean, is it right now? Doesn't Lashley have all the belts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as of this week, Bobby Lashley, champion of the X Division, King of the Mountain champion, as he defeated James Storm, and of course TNA World Champion. The tapings that happened over this weekend indicate that they do have a plan for these titles going forward, albeit a bit of a slow one. But Lashley, I would have never figured Bobby Lashley to be this dominant in wrestling.
I would have put him on Bobby Roode or EC3. EC3, when he was doing that egotistical, cocky character.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine him just coming in and, with the help of, can't remember his name right now, but, he wins all the belts, and could you see like they tag up for one night only and they take the tag team belts too? And then he's like, "Oh, I can't defend it today. I'm letting you be my champion in my place."
I mean, when you look at
but Lashley is probably one of the true natural talents with his, again, it may not have been the greatest, but he had an MMA run. Pretty sure he was a collegiate wrestler, highly touted collegiate wrestler. So, I mean, I can see it possible putting it on him. And he is probably the biggest physical specimen they have there. So, I'm not talking about Abyss, but I think Bobby can definitely get the job done.
Well, I will say that when I tuned in like last week, it did throw me off that they had taken Abyss's mask off. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That just threw me off.
I think that's been off for a couple of weeks.
Well, when you look at TNA, what they've been doing with the Decay, I mean, I think they've created a good entity there, and that's an entertaining tag team.
Or that what's her name? The female that runs with them. Having a brain fart right now.
Yeah.
Scary Sherry.
Scary Sherry isn't scary.
Crazy Cindy. Psycho Cindy. I don't know.
Crazy Mary?
I'm having a brain fart.
Mary?
I think is it Mary?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a crazy in it. It might just be Mary. Anyway, I mean, she's actually, to me, improved compared to when she first got there. And I think that helps them out quite a bit. Is having her the vocal spokesperson.
I mean, they've really made good strides. One thing I do try to give TNA credit for is they have been taking good positive steps forward. At first, when Mike Bennett got there, I didn't think they were doing a whole lot with him. Now, Mike Bennett, he's a made man there. They've done well with building his character. Maria Kanellis is always entertaining. I think she's done well in creating a presence for herself. The knockouts, some of the knockouts I don't really recognize them, but it's only because I don't know a lot about them right now. But they're, again, still laying groundwork for their future plans, which is the smartest thing they can do right now.
I mean, I got to give them credit that they haven't bowed down and given up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think their knockouts is as strong as it once was, but some of the other divisions are starting to pick up. I mean, I'm even starting to like Eli Drake. Yeah, hitting the button.
He does the facts of life gimmick or routine or whatever it's called. He's a pretty funny dude.
And then the two that run with Helms, whatever
Trevor
they call
Lee,
it, cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were really good too. Yeah. So I mean, they're starting to get some outside talent that looks pretty good, but now they just have to work it right. And maybe it'll be a different conversation in a year.
No.
Well, never say never. Happened before.
I just want to. Brian loves his TNA. And he hates anybody that says anything about it.
That's not true. You've been on more of a TNA kick lately than I have.
That's true. I would have to say that. Come on, man.
Yeah,
You've been more pro TNA lately than I can recall.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not gonna give you too much of a hard time about it. Right now is not a bad time to be a TNA fan. they're doing good work. It's just
I'm in withdrawals
climb.
because my DVR has not recorded Lucha Underground last couple weeks. Okay.
Are they on a break? Maybe.
Lucha. No, when I went out of town, I had to had to delete everything from my DVR so it wouldn't record and bump out other stuff. So
they still need to put those on seasons.
Yeah, I think
they make a killing off of
yes.
Lucha Underground, if they were smart, I mean, they would, and I'm sure that they've thought of it. It's just a matter of time. Start putting their stuff on like Netflix or maybe even WWN, because I know that they've got the network thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Lucha Underground has a niche. Like Ring of Honor has their niche in the wrestling world. Lucha Underground has their niche. It's like the it's like the literal soap opera of professional wrestling.
Yes. And it's really well told.
I mean,
they know what they're doing, man. The writing there, and I think that comes from that guy Burnett who came out of reality TV.
Oh, like The Apprentice, Survivor, all that.
I mean,
yeah. I think that, and the fact that they started with the whole it's all in Spanish, and then you really don't understand what it's saying, and now it's all in English. But they haven't changed anything about it except that now you can understand what they say.
I think Matt Stryker and Vampiro are probably the best commentary team that we've seen in a long time.
Oh, the fact that they're still fans of the game.
Yes.
I think that's what we're missing. And what Jim Ross has said in the past and what other people have said in the past is so true, that when you watch the mainstream wrestling, they are so thinking about promoting the product, promoting the network, promoting the pay-per-view, promoting this match, promoting that one. They forget that there's a match in the ring that they have to call.
Yeah, they get pretty tied up with the corporate attitude and what they've got to do to generate revenue for the next events. I agree. Hey, we're coming up on the top of the hour break. We're going to go ahead and just take a quick pause here. When we come back, we'll be discussing Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, Universal title. God, we got a lot to talk about still right here on Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio, broadcasting live tonight through Spreaker.com and in replay through BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net. Hey, if you get a chance, make sure you go to NWALegends.com. The 2017 FanFest weekend the tickets are now on sale. VIP tickets for all access is $109. With the Hall of Heroes and Breakfast Roast, $199. That's a hell of a deal. We were excited about it. We had a great time just last week in Charlotte, North Carolina, whether it was Queens of Combat, the Mortons versus the Fultons. It was a great night, a great week of wrestling action. We had a hell of a time, and that is something you definitely want to check out. Stick with us right here on Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio. We'll be right back.